Meet my new impulsive purchase. This is a Grainger G400. Yeah, I never heard of it either. It's a 72 volt, 40 amp hour, 5-speed manual electric motorcycle from 2017. Now apparently they only made 1,000 of these and there's little to no information online about them. And as the title says, it's not clickbait, I picked all this up for 1,200 bucks. Now some of you may be wondering, Hammy, why didn't you just spend that money on drugs and alcohol? But the truth is, man, 1,200 bucks is a steal for an electric dirt bike that's 72 volts and has a top speed of 60 miles an hour. It is half the cost of what my Sur Lipey cost me, and on paper, this should outperform my Sur in many critical performance areas. However, there are a few downsides. One problem with this bike is the fact that it is really heavy. It is 284 pounds, which is more than double the weight of my Sur Lipey. It's actually 40 pounds heavier than a CRF 450 of the same year. Another big issue with this bike is the fact that it's very old. It's from 2017, which means it was built in 2016, and much like the human body, batteries don't get better with age. They get much worse. They get slower, harder to charge, less powerful. They wish they chased their dreams when they were younger. But the biggest problem with this bike by miles is the fact if I break something on this, I'm f***ed. Because they didn't actually produce this bike, there's no website, there's no customer service, there's no YouTube tutorials, there's no owner's manual, there's not even a Reddit forum dedicated to hating on it. So if I have any issues with this bike, I'm on my own. So what's the top speed? Ow! Fucking foot peg! Great, now I'm pissed off. Anyway, so the previous owner said that this bike apparently has a top speed of 65 miles an hour. Click it down into first gear. It's so weird doing that on an electric bike. See that? Revs like a normal motorcycle too. Acceleration is... it's okay, I guess. There's 40. Really not the quickest e-bike I've ridden, but we got gears. There's 5th. Bike is shaking a lot because the front wheel is bent. Oh, and I'm out of power. What the hell? Okay, now I have power. What the heck happened there? I hope that doesn't happen again. I've got to finish this video. All right, here we go. Attempt number 2. Wish me luck. 52, 53, 51 mile. Oh, and it's out again. God damn it. I guess it is like some kind of rev limiter. All right, 50 mile an hour is top speed. That's as quick as I can get this thing. So then, it's not that fast, and it reluctantly wheezed itself to its top speed in just under 20 seconds. Wow. Wow. Now before we give this bike too much crap, I would like to mention that when I got it, it only had 47 miles on it, which means that it's been sitting around for the past 7 years collecting dust like that diary I said I was gonna write. It's certainly far behind other 72 volt bikes like the Solar or the Kaufman. Granted, they are significantly lighter bikes than this one, but considering how long it's been sitting around, not being charged or maintained, it's actually not too bad. One thing I am loving about this bike so far is surprisingly its handling. While the power is lacking, as you can see, I'm full throttle 3rd gear going uphill, and it's nothing that impressive. The handling is actually very good. Despite the fact that it is quite a heavy bike, it feels quite balanced and quite neutral and very flickable. Slows down great. It is nice to ride a bike with gears again, I have to say. It would be really nice to ride this bike with a fresh battery like how it was in its prime. Because at the moment, it kind of feels like an open bottle of soda you left in the fridge for a week. You know, like when you go back and get it, it's just flat and kind of filled with backwash. That's how I would describe the power on this bike. It's probably half of what it used to be because coming out of the factory, this bike would apparently make 10,000 watts. For those of you who aren't familiar with Grainger, nowadays they make these really awesome little pit bikes that look like a ton of fun. I'm curious as to why they didn't really produce this thing and develop it and really bring it into the market. I think they should bring it back. If the guys from Grainger are watching this right now, please leave a comment down below. Fill us in on some information about this bike. That's not bad. For 1,200 bucks, man, that's not bad. So far, so good. The bike is working very well, and despite the fact I broke a bunch of spokes in the rim, which turned out to be a whole fucking headache, I'll get into that a bit later, it's proving itself to be a fun little bike. Not bad for $1,200 used on offer. Now, the next set of tests was going to be me comparing this bike against my Sur. However, like so often on this channel, things took a very unexpected turn. As you can see, I've snapped my forearm in half. And no, I didn't get it on video. Now, I would love to say I was doing something extremely cool and dangerous and sick, but no, I actually fell off mid-turn while trying to hit the most pathetic little dirt jump imaginable. It was pretty whack. And the rest, as they say, is some bullshit. And when I got to the hospital, I found that the bone was actually protruding through the skin like a little gopher's head, which meant that old Hammy had to go under the knife. So now I've got 2 plates and a bunch of screws in my arm, as well as a full bottle of tramadol. Not even the good stuff. So obviously I'm going to be doing some rest and recovery for the next few months and try to not end up on Skid Row with a newfound opium addiction. Yeah, we got jokes here in Hamimoto. I'm also going to be editing videos for a bit of income in the meantime. Hit me up on Instagram if you want to know my rates. I do also have a donation link down below if you want to send over a few bucks. I am self-employed, so it would be a big help. And if you leave your address, I'll send you over some stickers as well. But anyway, don't click away just yet. You came here for the bike after all. So let's talk a bit more about that, some of the problems I've had, and ultimately if I thought it was all worth it. Oh, and by the way, yes, I was riding the Grange at the time of the crash, but it was not the bike's fault, dude. Honestly, like I said, I just ran out of talent.
I am not in the mood for bullshit.
I haven't had anything too major, but 2 of which were cause for concern. When I got this bike, it actually had no transmission oil. What I ended up doing was going on Google Lens, taking a picture of the transmission, and Google Lens was able to find a match through Google Images of another bike that had the exact same transmission. So I downloaded that bike's user manual and was able to find the correct oil specs. The second issue was the rear tire. Like I mentioned earlier, I busted a bunch of spokes, took the wheel down the chaparral. They had no idea how to help me, and they basically just walked me out the door saying, don't ever come back unless you know what brand the wheel is, which I didn't, and turns out not even Google did. I was able to find a wheel that was close, so close, but the hub was just too narrow to fit on the bike like the stock wheel did. So what we ended up doing was having to get a bunch of spacers and washers to kind of pad it out and get the wheel to fit correctly. You managed to do it, but it did take a lot of effort. It was by far the longest wheel change I've ever done on a motorcycle. But apart from those 2 big issues, there's a few minor ones. One of them is the range. It's abysmal. It's bad. I can barely get 10 miles out of this bike on a good ride. And once the bike gets to about 43%, it completely loses all motivation as if it took a Percocet. The front wheel is missing a couple spokes, so it's pretty imbalanced. Like you guys saw in the top speed test, the power will cut out at 5th gear. At top speed, it's really annoying. But despite all these problems, guys, again, I paid $1,200 for this, and I got a functioning, good-looking, fun motorcycle. And in the end, was it worth it? I think it was. I had some fun, I broke an arm. What more could you want? Alright, day 7 with a fucked arm, and time is really just starting to blend together. This must be how my unemployed friends feel all the time. So I got stitches all up here, all over here. It's gonna be a pretty gnarly scar. I also can't extend my arm, so I'm kind of stuck walking around like this like a fucking butler. I'm also recording this on the new Ray-Ban smart glasses, so it looks like I look like I still have a Bernie Sanders sticker on the back of my Subaru. Anyway, if you made it this far into the video, congratulations. Many people don't, so your attention span is intact. But thank you all so much for watching. I'll be back in a few months. And drop a comment down below if you made it this far, right? Let's have a little moment between me and you. Alright, thanks for watching. See you next time.